I'm making a Zabuza sword today, and probably the rest of the week. I already traced it out on some sturdy foam, housing foam that I got from Home Depot. They're different pieces, and so I have to glue them together. But I'm going to make it 2 inches thick, 4 feet long, and a foot wide. I'm going to use this glue to glue it together. Elmer's Ultimate Glue. And I got some clamps, so I don't really have to hold it together. Then we're going to cut it with a foam cutter later. I've got my sword all cut out. And now I'm starting to make the little circle healer parts for the handle piece here. They're just out of normal foam. This was a 6-inch round circle, but I cut it in half, cut off some of it, and then I cut off the circular part. Now I have to whittle it down so it's still circular, then I'll attach it once I get the handle guard. In case you were wondering, I use just normal kitchen knives, serrated kitchen knives, to cut the foam. This was for most of the just big chunk out of it. This was for the circles, or a circle and half circle. Now that I whittled these so they're rounded, I just want to remind you guys that foam is very, very messy, so you probably don't want to do foam cutting inside unless you have like a foam like hot wire cutter. If you're using like a serrated knife, you definitely don't want to do it inside. The insulation foam will pretty much go everywhere because unlike that sort of foam, which just stays put, this can easily crumble off and it's very light and flies everywhere. So just a precaution, just do it outside or somewhere you don't mind getting messy. I've made the handle guard pieces 1.5 inches long or wide, so that it's a little handle guard, and there comes that piece. These bottom ones dried already, and now I'm gluing the top part of the handle and the like decorative bump, I guess. It's all cut out like before, and next I'm probably gonna stick the dowel in. I've made a 4-inch long hole into the sword, and I'm gonna stick my cardboard dowel thing into it I use hot glue to seal this, to put all of it in, and then probably this adhesive stuff to seal it around the edges. Well, I've got my handle all glued in, and now I'm moving on to paper macheing the sword, covering it just one layer so it'll be more sturdy and the foam won't flake off every time I touch it. And the paper mache, I'm just using a recipe like flour and water. Like, I'm not going out and getting a paper mache thing from the craft store. It's just kind of a waste of money. So, in case you're wondering how sturdy paper mache was, this was cardboard underneath this, underneath the paper mache. And if I squeeze it, it doesn't make marks or anything. And this is foam underneath paper mache, which is even more sturdy. So this Zabuza sword will be very sturdy by the time I'm done with it. It's very, very easy to make the paper mache recipe I'm using. You could go with the one where you boil water. You could go with the one that you add like resin glue into it. But I'm just doing simple water and flour one. I'm just using like simple unbleached flour. So pour some flour into a bowl, then grab some water. I have the sink over here. There's no real set amount to how much of each you use. It's really just how much of it you want and how thick you want it to be. Mine's not coming very well, so that's lots of clumps in it. So basically, just keep adding flour or water until you get your consistency you'd like. This is just, I'll show you how to do one strip in case you're not familiar with paper mache. Just coat the strip both sides. slide off all the extra paper mache formula. And put it on to whatever you're making. Probably Zabuza sword since you're watching this, but slide it under. Make sure there's no bumps. It'd be really annoying if you have to sand that down later. And that's all there is to it. Sword's looking good so far. I paper mached the middle part, which is the easiest part because it's just like a normal rectangle. I did the underside of it too. Can't really see it, but I did. And so now I think I'm gonna work on the handle part, like this part right here, and maybe do a little bit of this, and then I'll probably do the circle part. My advice with circles and like rounded edges would probably be that make sure there's no bumps. Make sure it's all like laying flat onto your surface, or else it will have problems later. It will look awkward, and then you'll have to spend a lot of time sanding it and probably putting more paper mache onto it, which takes a lot of time. So just do it good the first time and you'll have better luck. Now that I've done this part, I can give you advice for bumps like this. You want to do the smallest pieces of newspaper possible to get the actual edge of the curve, or else if you just do like a big piece, then it won't be able to curve and it'll look awkward. Hey guys, the Zabuza sword is all dry. Pick it up and really do things with it now. I just have to paper mache this part, and what I'm doing today is going out and buying a dowel from Home Depot, and I'm going to stick it inside here so I can actually use this handle. And I'm going to paper mache this too, along with the handle guard, and then I'm probably going to use duct tape, as you can see here, to wrap around the handle to make it pop out. So, I got the dowel from Lowe's, this time not Home Depot. Lowe's was closer. So, I'm warming up my hot glue gun now, and I'm just going to glue it right on in, then paper mache the handle guard and the handle. Alright, so now I'm getting on to painting it, spray painting it. I'm going to be using Valspar, ideal for a bunch of stuff, suitable for wood, metal, plastic, ceramics, and paper mache, etc. And it's paper mache, so I figured I'd get this one. I got it at Home Depot. It's gloss, indoor, exterior. Like, I figure it'll work because it's needs paper mache. So I'm just gonna spray one side and wait for it to dry, flip it over to the other side. Maybe do 2 coats, it depends how well it takes to the paper mache. So I would recommend 2 coats, I guess. Make sure you're doing it outside or in a really well ventilated area, or else you'll probably die from the fumes. Okay, so I've coated the whole thing in the dark gray paint, and now I'm doing the silver, which I'm using metallic paint. You can get it right where you get the other kind of paint. So just take down so you have a nice even line. That's what I did. Okay, while the last bits and pieces of the paint are drying, I decided I'm going to do the last part on the handle, which is wrapping the duct tape. One thing I do recommend doing is just mapping out where you're going to do it with the tape first, which is a few inches of tape instead of doing the whole big bulge in one go.